Hello, this is Pixie. I've got noisy neighbours, so I might as well get on and do this. Okay, so I'm going to make some Ormus. So what you've got here, this is basically a whole lot of Epsom salts. That's Epsom salts. This is some Himalayan, so I'm just going to sort of make this special mix. So I'm just going to add bits and bobs and then I'll go through the process. So this is the first, I'll just put all these Epsom salts into a container. Now the container is a plastic one, so I'm going to use a cold method, cold fusion method for making Ormus, which I'll explain a bit more detail in a minute. Now I've added the pink salt, or Himalayan salt. I haven't added loads of it. There's a really good reason for that. Is that I don't want to. The idea, this aim of this particular mixture is to avoid doing loads of washing of the actual mixture, and this is so you can get the maximum amount of minerals that are within the salts. So I put a fairly small amount because, to be honest, Himalayan salt has actually got a good concentration of different key elements that are useful for people's biology. I've just added the caustic soda to the mix. As you can see, it's all white, so I'll give that a mix around in a sec. Okay, so I was just giving it a bit of a mix with my plastic utility. You don't want to use metal, because sometimes the metal can add into the mixture, and that'll probably be an undesired effect if you want to add a load of well, it depends what you're using. If you're using a copper utility, but you might want something like stainless steel in your diet, or to enter in your body as a heavy metal. Now this is another added ingredient that you wouldn't normally have in any Ormus, and this is going to be the first time it's going to be produced. I've put semi-precious stones in there. Now sometimes, basically they will affect the mixture in its alchemy, and some of the properties of them should come across into the actual Ormus. So they're really interesting. So you've got crystals and all sorts in there that bring different qualities, different aspects. Hopefully to heal. That's the aim of it. So let's see what I'll produce. It'll be quite interesting. So this is the next phase. I'm going to put some hot water in it. Oh my goodness, you can hear it hissing away. It's going to have an instant reaction. So that's just phase one. Oh, it's starting to pick up in temperature as well. That's just some other bits I think that have gone into my mixture. It's not a big problem. I just filtered them out, and yeah, it's red at the moment. You can feel its temperature. So, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a cool down as well. So it's a bit of a process of just waiting, but as you can see the colour, because normally it would be clear, but once your caustic soda hits into it, it changes the colour of it. It basically breaks down the elements. There's all sorts of stuff I've got to filter out that looks like it's turning up. That's interesting. That's fine. So just in case, like I say, just wait and see what happens. So my mixture's pretty much done, but what I can feel around me is I can feel a lot of energy. So, like I say, with this method, it's a slower reaction over a longer period of time. But what happens if you do the other way, where you mix the sodium hydroxide into water and then dissolve the salts and then put the two together, you get a more dramatic reaction because they're already in two liquid forms. While if it's powder, it's a more slow process because as the sodium hydroxide reacts to the water and picks up in temperature, then it also breaks down the salts and then converts itself into something completely different. Anyway, this is Pixie sign off, and I'll just give you an update and see how this turns out later in the week.